on. So think about what those core values are. And most of those are related to our mission and what I would call our core missional initiatives. Now, this might be how do we connect with people and care for them and encourage them as part of the body of Christ? How do we help people grow into a deeper level of spiritual maturity in following Jesus? How do we help people be Jesus out in the community, in their workplaces and school settings, so that we bring Jesus and a culture of love and embracing of other people beyond our church walls? That can be a core value. And also, and how do we continue to also value things like joy? Do we value just laughter and playfulness? That can be another element of a congregation. So there's these missional values, and then there's some that kind of speak to your congregation's personality. And then there's other ones that I would call operational values. Some values that I embrace operationally are simplicity. I think so often churches, we have a really lean staff. We're trying to do more than what we can actually accomplish just with our limited resources without burning out people. So I like to keep things simple and straightforward, easy to understand, easy to do, easy to take that next step. I value operational transparency, that everyone has a right to know what's going on and where they find information. There's no secrets outside of some specific confidential things about individuals. But for the most part, we're a transparent congregation. And lastly, I lift up one of my elements around operations is that core value of experimentation. Are we an innovative church? Are we consistently thinking about what is, what might be, what could we try? Are we learning from our results? Are we willing to prototype and try some new things and learn from our failures and understanding failure as really what moves us forward, because failure gives us an opportunity to pause and learn from what worked and didn't work and how to make some course corrections. So I want you to think a little bit about those operational values too, as well as your missional ones. And then, and we often talk about we do blank because we value what? So I want you to think about that. We do blank because we value inclusive community. We do blank because we value becoming more like Jesus each and every day. We do blank because we are trying to create Sabbath space in people's lives. Whatever that is, but I want you to connect what you do with what you value. And so often we only tell people what we do. We don't tell them why it matters, those values, and we don't tell them sometimes how they can take the next step. So we need to be clear about that element. And then I want you to lift up this idea that we got to change our questions. If we're really going to move into a new way of being, because again, going back to that idea of our culture is created by what we consistently say and what we consistently do, then maybe we need to start talking about different things, and we need to start asking better questions. And I'm a firm believer that if we could even move into a questioning, an inquiring, a discerning mode, rather than always blasting out information, but we actually invite people into a conversation about what it means to be church, what role they might play, and our hopes for being that transforming presence in our community. So I want you to think about, do your leaders, do they listen and ask more than they tell? Would it be important for you to know more about the individuals you seek to serve rather than just assume that you know what's best for them? Do you need to know what you want for them as far as their hopes and their dreams, their families, things like that? How can we address those needs if we don't know that? Do you know what your members actually want from the church? What do they need from the church that allows them to live out their faith on a daily basis? And sometimes we can change questions where we can frame our leadership agendas around certain questions often related to our mission, our vision, our values. We can use questions that also move us into an innovative mindset, where we're actually asking people for feedback to make sure we're doing the right things. We're observing what's going on. We're willing to experiment. And then once we've done experiments, we inspect our results. And then we take some time to say, what could we do differently now that we have these new understandings, new learnings, and new results? Might there be a better way how we move forward? So culture, again, is shaped by all those critical elements about what we do, what we say, what we value, but it has to show up in our conversations. It has to show up in our actions, and there has to be a connection from what we say and what we do.